The animals went in two by two, hurrah, hurrah. The animals went in two by two, hurrah, hurrah. The animals went in two by two, the elephant and the kangaroo, and they all went into the ark. They all went into the ark for to get out of the rain.
Now, Ryan and I are going to share a story to you. The story is Organizing Life on the Ark. It goes as follows. Long, long ago, there was a terrible flood because of greed and wickedness. Because God asked Noah to build a humongous boat to rescue two of each of his creatures to give life on earth a fresh start. While Noah's neighbors laughed till their bellies ached, and the tears rolled down their cheeks as they started and stared at him and his sons on a mountain, far from any ocean or lake, whacking and twerking huge logs of wood with hammers and nails to make a fine ark. They mocked and jeered as they sang silly rhymes, dancing and prancing around them as they worked in the heat and dry sand. But Noah and his family took no notice and continued to work steadily on the ark, carefully following all God's instructions, till it stood high, long and broad, brilliantly glinting in the heat of the day. They took a few minutes to admire their handiwork, then sent out a message by the bush telegraphs using the codes and the animals used. They gathered in food of all different types as they waited their first of their guests. When the biggest and the fiercest animals, hippos and rhinos, elephants and crocodiles, lions and cheetahs began to arrive, the neighbors scattered and ran to their homes, shrieking and shouting, "Noah's not just a fool, he's totally nuts. With all his madness, he'll cause the death of all of us." Each set of animals stopped at the entrance of the ark, silently making a pact to live peacefully in community on the boat till the storm was over and the water was subsided. Noah was feeling quite nervous of all these wild creatures living together on his boat, but God had given him instructions, so he stood at the entrance and greeted each of them as they arrived and settled into their new home. The last few animals were trapezing up the hill when thunderous black clouds rolled over the sun, spreading across the sky. When plump raindrops started to fall from people peered through their windows, wondering whether Noah was such a clown after all. The raindrops woke up Sloth, who was having a snooze. Tortoise and Snail were the last to arrive, shambling and creeping over so slowly up the ramp of the ark as the rain paddled down. Now Noah's neighbors weren't laughing and joking anymore. Oh no! They were jumping and shouting, waving and weeping, howling the terrible fear as the flood waters rose higher and higher, lifting the ark and carrying it off on the crest of a wave. Now Noah's neighbors weren't laughing and joking anymore. Oh no! They were jumping and shouting, waving and weeping, howling in terrible fear as the flood waters rose higher and higher, lifting the ark and carrying it off on the crest of a wave as the wind whistled and blew. Meantime, snug inside the safety and shelter of Noah's humongous boat, lion, tortoise, and owl were in a meeting to talk about the problems they could expect with so many different creatures living together in such a small space. With their combined skills of leadership, understanding, and wisdom, they knew this would not be easy. Tortoise twisted with his wiggly old neck and squint up at the owl, who was perched on a beam high in the management and just a few basic rules of mutual respect were needed to keep the community living together in peace. They were certain the other creatures would recognize Lion's leadership and authority. Together they planned which creatures to group together and what rules were needed to protect the weak and to control those who are too boisterous, noisy, and mischievous. When they asked Lizard and Mouse to act up as messengers since they could easily scuttle all over the ark, as they carried the news from Lion, Owl, and Tortoise to the rest of the creatures, they felt very important. Wasp, Porcupine, and Eagle were the best to keep discipline. So they were asked to gather the creatures into their groups and show them their spaces. After several days had passed, and the storm was still raging outside, the animals began to get restless and grumpy because they had nothing to do and nowhere to go. Owl, Tortoise, and Lion once again got together to share their wisdom and find an answer. Some light entertainment, they thought, might just do the trick. So they sent for Monkey, Parrot, and Peacock, who were delighted to use their clever tricks, cheeky words, and beautiful feathers to keep other creatures amused. But Peacock thought it was also important to have soothing music to keep everyone calm and tranquil. Nightingale, Cricket, Turtle, Dove, and Elephant agreed to form a small orchestra or band. The creatures were soon giggling at the antics of Monkey and Parrot's funny words, or swaying at the tapping at their feet as Elephant trumpets out jazz and the blues. Orangutan also joined in when he discovered he was a master of rapping, and Chimpanzee got carried away with beatboxing whenever he could sneak into the action. But Nightingale and Turtle, Dove were the favorites late at night as they sang lullabies to gentle the animals into sweet dreams and sleep. Eventually, after 40 days and 40 nights, the flood waters sank and the rank came to rest back on the peak of the mountain. Noah and his sons once again heaved and hauled on the pulley to lower the rank of the ark. There was a great hullabaloo as the creatures rushed to be the first to step out of the ark. "Stop!" roared the lion. "We've lived together for more than 1 month without bickering and fighting. Wait your turn, or you'll be trampled underfoot by the bigger animals." So they waited patiently until it was their turn to step back onto dry ground, feel the warmth of the sun, and return to their proper homes. The next day, a wonderful, brightly colored rainbow stretched across the sky. God was so pleased to see Earth renewed that he promised never to destroy with a flood again. But I think he was also celebrating a community of life that has lived and worked together so well in such a small space for so many weeks. Don't you think that? And I bet he was equally pleased with some of the animals for using their special abilities to help others and to keep their community together. So creation was given a second chance, with all life woven together in a beautiful tapestry and a magnificent rainbow glistening over the earth with kaleidoscopic colors. That's all we have, and that's the end of our story. Thank you. Eventually, after 40 days and 40 nights, the flood waters sank and the rank came to rest back on the peak of the mountain. Noah and his sons once again heaved and hauled on the pulley to lower the rank of the ark. There was a great hullabaloo as the creatures rushed to be the first to step out of the ark. "Stop!" roared the lion. "We've lived together for more than 1 month without bickering and fighting. Wait your turn, or you'll be trampled underfoot by the bigger animals." So they waited patiently until it was their turn to step back onto dry ground, feel the warmth of the sun, and return to their proper homes. The next day, a wonderful, brightly colored rainbow stretched across the sky. God was so pleased to see earth renewed that he promised never to destroy with a flood again. But I think he was also celebrating a community of life that has lived and worked together so well in such a small space for so many weeks. Don't you? Don't you think that? And I bet he was equally pleased with some of the animals for using their special abilities to help others and to keep their community together. So, creation was given a second chance, with all life woven together in a beautiful tapestry and a magnificent rainbow glistening over the earth with kaleidoscopic colors. That's all we have, and that's the end of our story. Thank you.
Mr. Noah built an ark. The people thought it's such a lark. Mr. Noah pleaded so, but into the ark they would not go. Down came the rain in thunder, splish splash. Down came the rain in thunder, splish splash. Down came the rain in thunders, and only 8 were saved. The animals went into fight too. The big giraffe and the kangaroo, they were all safely stored until that great and awesome day. Down came the rain in thunders. Down came the rain in thunders. Down came the rain in thunders, and only 8 were saved. I'm going to read out of the book of Genesis, chapter 9, verse 8 until 17. God said to Noah and his sons, I am now making my covenant with you and with your descendants and with all living beings, all birds and all animals, everything that came out of the boat with you. With these words, I'm making my covenant with you. I promise that never again will all living beings be destroyed by a flood. Never again will a flood destroy the earth. As a sign of this everlasting covenant which I am making with you and with all living beings, I am putting my bow in the clouds. It will be a sign of my covenant with the world. Whenever I cover the sky with clouds and the rainbow appears, I will remember my promise with you and to all the animals that a flood will never again destroy all living beings. When the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between me and all beings on earth. That this is the sign of the promise which I am making to all living beings. Goodbye, and thank you for being with us. Remember now to look after God's world and all his wonderful creations. Till next time, bye bye.
The animals went in 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The animals went in 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah.